Hello, and welcome to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. In this segment, James and I discuss what it might look like to be a creative in 5, 10, or 20 years. Hope you enjoy.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, James.
Welcome to Gifted Underachiever New Year.
What?
Yeah, it's the Gifted Underachiever New Year's celebratory segment.
Woo!
To the future.
Yay!
What it means to be a creative.
Happy New Year!
Yep, we're saying goodbye to the past Gifted Underachiever year, which ended September 15th.
There it goes. Father Time, out he goes.
Yeah, I know. You can't stop time. So, as we're moving into this new year, here's the question that I have for you.
Okay.
What does being a creative look like in 5, 10, 20 years?
Okay. So we're doing some speculating.
Speculating or, wishfulness.
Okay.
What would you like to see? And not specifically to you or me, but, the world.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what I got to start with what I see now, which is, general sort of discounting of creative output. It's only considered worth something if other people pay a lot for it. It's like it's not so much an individual appreciation. I see a lot of siloed creatives trying to do something that other people are also doing that would be easier if they could sort of collaborate and share ideas, and not collaborate on projects necessarily, although that's not a bad idea, but also just have more sense of community. And I think that I'm probably overly discounting the online community of creatives, which is pretty huge. I mean, if you look at something like Substack, there's a shitload of creative people on there of varying levels, basically, of output, not just ability, but also output. And we wouldn't have had that 10 years ago. We didn't have it. So what I'm seeing, though, is people struggling. I'm seeing people struggle to make a living, if that's what they're trying to do, to find an audience, if that's what they're trying to do, and to be able to produce consistently, which most of us are trying to do because it makes us feel better to be creating stuff. What I think I would like to see, honestly, I think that I would like to see a lot of local sort of artist communes almost. You don't have to live there, but to have a workshop around other people that are doing the same thing. And that kind of needs a sort of a patronage system. Artists don't have the money to buy land or, even to rent it often. You're doing stuff at your kitchen table at night when everybody else is in bed. So I'd like to see a kind of a combination of institutional support, like from governments and arts bodies, arts patrons, and at the public level, and individual patronage that allows artists to do what they do best, which is make art. And I've just been somewhere where there was two carvers working on a piece. They were carving a totem pole, and the person who owned the land they were working on gave them a pretty large piece of it for very nominal money that they couldn't afford otherwise. They'd be living in a parking lot kind of thing. It's like they didn't have the money. And so that was important to their mental health as well as their ability to put up a little tent thing like a cover and lay out the wood and get their carving tools and work on it for 8-9 hours a day, because it's due in 2 weeks and they've got a gallery and stuff like that. So just that kind of little sort of pods of in community creative stuff I'd like to see more of. And then I'd like to see the online ecosphere be as robust as it is now, but maybe with a little less selling. I don't know if that's possible. And then I'd like to see the intercommunity and international exchanges of creative work and workers be really transparent and
Hmm.
not rely on references and things like that, that really just rely on the work and the ideas and have less, fewer barriers, maybe a bit more funding for artists to travel and stuff like that. Have it just be easier access so that people who are struggling to sustain a creative life find it less of a struggle and they can put more of their energy into doing the thing they do best that makes them the happiest and that makes
Hmm.
other people's lives better. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to take the same outlook or a similar outlook. So right now in the US, especially with, Trump just destroying anything that's creative that doesn't reflect his worldview,
Yeah.
I feel like relying on a government for any kind of support of creativeness or arts right now is probably not a winning strategy. But what I would like to see, though, is more of this community of creative people in the US in particular, but throughout North America, really coming together, forming bonds, forming a larger community, and one that doesn't fall into these little spits and spats of, or, sort of side, like, here's my political bone I want to pick with everybody.
Yeah.
But it views this community as, a whole and advocates for it, so
Hmm.
we can become more of a political player,
Yeah.
right? So I would like to see that. And when I say that, I can't say that without giving a lot of credit to Sharon Loudon,
Yeah.
who is doing a shit ton of work
Yeah.
to get that to happen. And she's going on a book tour launch, and she's got this nonprofit that is trying to do exactly that. So we need to
Yeah.
credit there. Um, but yeah, I don't think there's ever going to be a time where saying I want to be an artist or be somebody who's a creative, where it's not going to come with a lot of risk.
Yeah. Right.
I think it's just the nature of it. But
Mhm.
I think the one that where we put a little less emphasis on the money making side and a little bit more emphasis on the meaning side,
Mhm.
right? So it's not to get into this Pollyannish. It shouldn't be about the money, but when I think about when you drive by a movie theater now, it's all Marvel comics and things blowing up, and
Yeah.
how many Superman movies do we really need?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to find something that really connects on that personal kind of level, right?
Yeah.
And it's not that it's not out there, it is. It's just hard to find it, right?
Yeah.
And so some way that we can, make it easier for people to find what we're looking for.
Mhm.
And part of that too is really being okay with failure, right? And so meaning that you can really put a lot of energy into something, and if it doesn't quote unquote succeed in the marketplace or something like that, we don't sort of say, well, you haven't succeeded as a creative. You're not really a creative person because you don't have your paintings in galleries, you're not in movies, you're not published by Random House in a bestseller, all that kind
Right.
of stuff, where judge people by their effort,
Y
uh and
rather
and
than their output. Yeah.
and their desire,
Mhm.
to keep things going. So and I think we need to be, in some ways, not that we're mean to each other as creatives, but I think we could be nicer to each other, and it's a little less internally focused and a little bit more community focused, which I think, is kind of what you're getting at.
Yeah, I mean, you might be projecting a little. I don't feel that most creatives judge each other on how high they
No,
get up the
no,
hierarchy.
no. That's more. I'm thinking more outside of the creative world. Like, I
Oh, I
think
see.
creatives
Right.
understand how hard all of this is, and so we're very forgiving
Yeah.
that when somebody says I'm a writer, but I'm really struggling to publish, as compared to when you go to other professionals,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And say you're at this big gathering of professionals, and it's like, so what do you do? I'm a writer. Oh, I don't recognize your name.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. What have you written that I've heard of? And I just saw a thing where a woman said, she's a poet, and she said a woman in a coffee shop who she knew came up to her after reading and said, wow, you're still doing this. You're still working coffee shops, huh? And maybe you're not going to make it. You've been doing this for 20 years. And first the poet said, "What did you just say to me?" Called her out. And then she said, I feel privileged to have an audience at all. So
Yeah.
what if it's this? Right. But yeah, I think there is that. It was American. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I think people would be loath to say that in some countries, but other countries are a little more free with their, well, you're not making money, so you should quit uh,
Yeah.
perspective. Yeah, I like what you're saying. All of those.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, as a community, doing a better job of communicating outside of the community
Yeah.
to sort of say, look, what it means to be a creative and a successful creative are not the same as making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yes, there's people who are making a shit ton of money, and that's great.
Hmm.
And it means that possibility exists.
Hmm.
But really it's I am able to live my life in a way that I have defined for myself.
Yeah.
And it's not seen as like, oh well, okay, you
Hmm.
know, you should have become a lawyer,
Yeah.
uh, kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, a little bit more. I think for the community as a whole, a little bit more respect translating into a little bit more security somehow.
Right.
That's where I would put it. So
Sounds good.
yeah, happy New Year.
Happy New Year. The baby is ready to live the first year of its life. So, just because your question was framed like 5, 10, 20 years, I think the things we're talking about could be, I don't know, AI could affect a lot of sort of working creatives who are illustrators, brand developers, all of that stuff could blow up. And we could be talking about a completely different ecosystem, not something we can predict from here. But I kind of see it like, well, somebody has to have the ideas. And so humans are good at that. And humans are good at having individual perspectives on the human condition, which is what art's about, right? So that part I don't see threatened. I do feel like it could go any way at all, and I'll be interested. Hopefully, I'll live another whatever couple
Yeah.
decades. Yeah,
Yeah, I know it'd be nice. I feel like my life has been about watching this slow collapse,
yeah,
right? And it'd be nice to see that make a turnaround. And I don't
mhm,
think that's going to happen until there's a lot more people really kind of, and it doesn't require actually sitting in the same room, but just this connection
yeah,
and operating as one. It's um, the famous civil rights era mantra was organize, organize, organize,
yeah,
not sit apathetically somewhere or disorganize, disorganize, disorganize. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. And like you said, Sharon Loudon's Institute for Sustained Creativity, they're doing exactly what you're talking about with sort of connectivity among different siloed creatives and communities that will help establish the ability to sustain a creative practice, for money. I mean, they're talking about working creatives. So, they're not hobbyists. There's nothing wrong with hobbyists, but we're talking about people who are making a living or trying to.
yeah,
And
trying to, yeah.
yeah,
And I
and
think in our interviews here with artists and musicians, we've seen so many connecting points
yeah,
uh, that, yeah, we're all one and the same.
yeah, exactly. Thanks so much for listening to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Hope you have a great creative week.